What's up, y'all? Hope you're having a great day. Today I'm gonna talk about my 1 year without marijuana. I'm gonna call it weed for the video purposes because that's what's easier to say. But today, December 3rd, 2022 marks 1 year without weed. So last year, December 3rd, 2021 is when I stopped using weed. I'm gonna put out a disclaimer. This story is not about the same as the one with the alcohol. If you remember my alcohol video, alcohol was a different experience for me. I would say alcohol was a worse experience. So when I'm talking about weed, I don't discredit against anybody who uses it for medical purposes and practices. I know that it's tied into a lot of culture, but for me, my experience is strictly about recreational use and abuse, right? That's what this video is about. So my experience with weed is different for sure. But as always, I'm gonna start off with my previous experiences with weed. So coming from childhood, weed was always a thing that you weren't supposed to do. You remember Dare? I listened to them when they came to school. I was one of the few listening to Dare when they came to school. So with weed was always looked at as a drug. Of course, it was illegal. I live in Colorado. It's not illegal anymore, but it was always looked at as an illegal drug. You know, it was always looked at something like mind altering. It was a gateway drug. That's how people explained it to me. Childhood, nobody messed with weed really. There was maybe a few kids at the park, you know, where I live at nearby, where, you know, little gang members would have, you know, weed. They would smoke it, you would smell it. But other than that, they weren't anybody who was aggressive or anything. Childhood, there was not too many experiences with weed. I always knew it smelled weird. I always knew what the plant looked like before they like pick it or whatever when they're growing it. But weed was not a thing in childhood. That's different. You know, they didn't really talk about weed as much unless it was Dare that was talking about it. But coming to middle school is where you would experience being around weed. You know, I never smoked it up until college, but up until this point, you know, the kids would be smoking. You know, where I went to middle school, 6th grade, 7th grade, whatever. Like, it was everywhere. So kids would come to school, you know, smelling like weed. They'd bring weed sometimes. You know, they would have their eyes all bloodshot. You know, they had eye drops. And this is like the first time I kind of am around kids who smoke weed. And these kids, you know, they're probably the same ones who use alcohol, right? It was a parent thing, whatever, however they grew up was the way it was. So with weed, you know, kids looked at it more as like recreational. You know, they always talk about how it was good for you, health benefits, and you know, this and that. They talk about munchies. They, you know, they would be eating their hot Cheetos and shit. Like, but what I figured out with these kids is that like kids who use weed, they were fucking funny, bro. Like, them funny motherfuckers. Like, they were already funny to begin with, but these kids, like, you could tell that they struggled in class. Like, you know, they'd either be high or like they feel like, oh, I need to be high to do this. Like, that's dangerous, bro. Like, as like 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old kids like talking about they need weed to like kind of survive was like a fucking, to me, it wasn't much because that was a reality that I already knew. Like, it wasn't hitting me like the way it does now. Like, me talking about this shit, like, it fucking hits me right now to think that these kids are 11, 12 years old, like, having to use this all the time. And, you know, weed is different, bro. Weed is different because in the sense that I think it's more of a coping mechanism. It might be a healthier way to cope, but, you know, people smoke a lot when they cope. That's why a lot of gang members I knew grew up smoked. You know, they didn't have a parent in the household, or somebody was incarcerated, or somebody like passed away. So they used it to cope. And because it's used to heal, like, weed is like a drug weed is more like, I don't call it a drug, but weed is more like something that you use to ease your mind, to relax your body, you know, all that stuff. That's what weed is for. So these kids would use it, but of course people would take it overboard and use it too much to the point where like you can't even function in public. So that was something that I always knew too, was like you could go down bad that direction too. And I always told myself I was never gonna smoke, bro. Like, that was just one thing. Like, my parents never used it. You know, they used alcohol a little bit, but they never smoked weed. I never knew anybody in my family in Mexico or California that ever smoked. That was the thing. So it wasn't a thing for me. But in middle school, you know, you would see that. In high school, you would see more kids like closer to me who would be smoking. Like, my friends would smoke, and I never smoked with them. They never offered or nothing because they knew I was a good kid. But like, weed was always around, bro. And, you know, they would always talk about legalizing it and stuff, and like talk about like they'd go smoke with the homies. You know, I went to Greeley Central, so people would go to Glenmere Park and you know, toke it up. You know, they would go to like Smoker's Corner across, you know, they would go into the alleyways and smoke. they come back to lunch all fucking giggly and shit. Like they're funny, bro. Like that's what I knew about weed, that they were funny. But like you would tell some kids like needed that shit. They would skip class and like they wouldn't really graduate on time because of it, bro. But in high school, it was like the first time I actually touched weed, like, and it wasn't anything like I was gonna go smoke or nothing. But there was this homie that I knew, that it was PE class, bro, and that motherfucker stunk like shit from weed, bro. Like, cause we had PE like 5th period, so that was right after lunch, bro. This homie would like come in, and he'd be fucking smelling like weed, all fucking just, you know, all haze and like all chill, you know. He was always cool. That's something I noticed too with people who used weed at the time, was like that they were never aggressive people. Like they were never people who were like truly sad. They were just like funnier. You know, they'd be in an elevated mood. That's why it's called high. You know what I'm saying? So like, sometimes I'd be curious, bro. I'd be like, what does that feel like? But then, you know, I had a guilty conscience. Like I'm not gonna do that. But these homies would be chilling. You know, like they'd be high. Like they just be chill, like relaxed. You know, stone. Like that's why it's called stone, because like you're just like a stone, bro. Like you don't move and shit. Like the teachers knew when they'd be high and shit. And like some of them didn't care. Some of them did. But like these fools would always play it off, you know. And like it's always funny, bro, because the two people that were always high would be like, hey, bro, do you smell like weed? Yeah, motherfucker, you both smell like weed. Like, why are you gonna ask another fool that's high if you smell like weed, bro? Like, come on, dog. But that's what weed makes you do, is like makes you more giggly and silly and shit. So like I always knew that. But I remember I was scared because like the fucking PE teachers would come in and like smell weed and shit, and like they wouldn't really be scoping around. But like this homie was like, hey, bro, can you put this in your locker? And there's probably like this much weed, bro. And I was like, fuck no, you can't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? But I was cool. He's like, come on, bro. If you get in trouble, like it's on me. Like I'll take the blame. I was like, all right, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like me being a good kid, bro. Like that whole fucking time, bro. Like I was all fucking shitted. You know what I'm saying? Cause like I'm a good kid, bro. Like I don't want to get in trouble. Like if I get caught with weed in like school, I don't know what the fuck. I know the cops would come and shit, and like I don't know what they would do, cause I never got in trouble. I never asked, but like I was like, bro, if the cops talk to me and they call my parents, bro, like I'm fucked, bro. Like I'm Mexican, bro. Like I'll get my ass whooped. So like that was the thing, and I was like, hey homie, like, are you sure we gonna get caught, bro? Like, you're my dog and everything, but like, are you gonna get caught? Like, please tell me. He's like, nah, bro, we're chilling, bro. I was like, all right, bro, you know, like all still like nervous and shit, and PE all fucking shaky, and like the PE teacher was my coach, bro, for basketball, so like I couldn't be fucking up. It was one PE teacher would be in there, another PE teacher would be in there, and they were both my basketball coaches, bro. So like I was like, hey, like bro, like I'm walking on thin ice right here, bro. Like don't get me in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Cause that's all I did in high school was like hoop and like, you know, be weird and like introverted. And I still had cool homies, like they respected me, I respected them, but I was like, bro, like please don't get me in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So he would do that. And then like I come back to the locker room, bro, it fucking stunk, bro. Like my clothes smell like weed, like bad, bro. And it was this little like I think it was like a nug or something, like wrapped in like foil, bro. And I was like, fuck, bro, like I smell like weed. So don't worry, bro, I got you, bro. He's like, hey, just take this fucking, it's Axe, bro. Like everybody in high school, boys would fucking use Axe, bro. I was not one of them motherfuckers. I use Old Spice, right? It was a little different. Like it wasn't Axe, bro. Axe is like ass, bro. Like Old Spice is like cleaner ass, you know what I'm saying? Like it smells better, but it's not like no fucking like crazy cologne or nothing. But I was like, all right, bro, just spray the fuck out of it, you know what I'm saying? Like shh, it's cool. And then I still smell like weed after that, bro. So I was all paranoid for the rest of the day. Like I smell like fucking Axe and fucking weed. Like I was scared, bro. But I mean, I was chilling. Like I was a little nervous kid, but I was like, bro, like please don't. And some motherfuckers be like, hey, bro, you smoke weed, bro? Like you smoke weed, bro? Like you smell like it. Fuck. You know what I'm saying? So like I got home and it didn't smell anymore, but I was nervous, bro. That whole fucking bus ride home, I was like, I hope I don't smell like weed, but I didn't. But in high school is where I saw most of it. Never smoked it. I would smell it. Like I could smell it on people. Like I was walking around people who would smoke it, but I would never take it. But it was never no peer pressure shit. Like weed smokers are a lot more chill. Like I know that for sure. Like they don't really be fighting, bro. Alcohol is a different story. But in college though, I feel like in college, like it was never a thing. But we'll get back to college. Let's talk about the culture. Like so my family Mexican people, like we don't smoke weed. Like my family Mexican don't smoke weed. Like nobody does, and it's taboo. It's for sure taboo in Mexico. Like in Mexican culture, like where my parents are from, like it's taboo. Like if they found out I was like gonna smoke, like they're gonna disown my ass. But hey, bro, you know, chug all this alcohol and be aggressive and do stupid shit, like yeah, that's acceptable, bro. But when it comes to weed, don't fucking touch it. Like they both have terrible side effects. Like if you really think about it, like there's not enough science to prove that like weed is actually a great thing for you, and like that's my opinion. Like I know from a fact, from personal experience. Medical though, you know, there's research, you know, but we haven't had enough research with weed yet to know like the long-term effects, right? So we talk about that, but like in Mexican culture, like it's taboo, bro. Like, and part of the reason why I didn't want to do it is because like people would die over weed, bro. Like in Mexico, like people would die, like, you know, you got cartels, you got all kinds of crazy shit. Like it's just the way it is, bro. Like people be dying over this stuff. Like it's the same thing with cocaine. Like I never used cocaine in my life, so I ain't gonna have no cocaine video. But like cocaine is different. But like weed, I had a guilty thing, bro. I was like, bro, like I don't want to ever use weed because like what if there's blood on it? You know what I'm saying? Like there's blood, like blood money. Like think about like different things in the world. Like there's blood, like there's blood all over it, or like there's like, you know, there's criminal shit behind it. So that was me. And then like American culture, bro. Weed, freaking America, bro. America's fucked up, bro. Like weed is like the worst thing in the world to like American people, bro. Like, and it's crazy because in high school they legalized weed. Like, you know, they legalized weed when I was like a junior in high school. But like in America, bro, like it's money, bro. Like if you can't make money off of weed, like weed was making too much money at a certain point in the country's history. Like basically, like I forgot this dude's name, but this dude was elected into like some kind of cabinet or some kind of elected. He was an elected official, and he had to like do something with weed. So he had to like basically say weed was like the worst thing in the world, and like that like if you smoke it, like you have all these crazy things happen to you. And like he basically just gave it a bad name and like forced the government to like ban it, right? But we could still have alcohol, right? We could still have DUIs. We could still have people shooting people. We could still have people stabbing people. We could still have people like drunk driving and killing each other. Yeah, that's cool, bro. Like, you know, alcohol, like you'll fuck your liver up. You know, you'll fuck your brain cells up. Like you'll be unhealthy. But hey, let's go ban weed. That's what's his thing. Like, oh, you see this? Oh, there's too much money involved in alcohol. But you know, weed is making more money than like any other thing, like paper or whatever. Like, let's ban weed because we can't get our money, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was, in a short sense. You can look it up. I know there's like conflicting opinions about shit, but like just go ahead and do your research. Don't be the guy who doesn't try to do the research, right? With this video, I forgot to put a disclaimer. Like, this is my personal opinion. This is my personal story. Like, if you agree with it, you don't. If you agree with it, you do. Like, that's fine. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that it's gonna help somebody, so like that's why I tell it, right? I don't have no time to argue with nothing. Like, I don't do that. Like, I don't do that. But anyway, we talk about weed in college. Well, for sure, alcohol is the most dominant thing in college. Like, that's for sure. Like, depends where you go to. Like, I live in Colorado, so people can get weed. You know, you have to be 21, but like it's not that bad of an experience to go and get weed. So in college, people still stuck with alcohol because it's easier to get. You know, like you had people selling and shit, but like you couldn't get like somebody who's 21, 22. Like, hey, bro, go give me alcohol. I'll slide you some money. Okay, pull up the party with like alcohol, but everybody can really have alcohol. Like, there's no shortage about alcohol, but like weed, there's not too many weed smokers I remember at parties. They would always be the ones who'd be like hoarding that shit. Cause like, bro, when it was my time to smoke, like I didn't want motherfuckers smoking out of my shit, bro, unless I like really fuck with you. Like, so I understand, like, motherfuckers, like, you have a joint in that shit, and you get like 3 fucking hits off of that shit, and like everybody would be hogging. Alright, bro. The motherfucker that was the worst was like, you would pass him a joint and this motherfucker would be talking for like 2 minutes, bro. Like how I am right now. You see that shit burning and you see that shit just like ashing up, right? Bro, pass that shit back. Like, but anyway, like, it was weird though, because in college, like, it was still kind of taboo though. Like, you could be failing your exams and you go out to drink 5 times a week, but you were cooler than somebody who would smoke weed and show up to parties or anything high. Like the people look at you kind of funny, like you're fucking weird, but whatever. Let's talk about like health. Like, you know, there's, you know, states legalize it for like medicinal use. Like, there's cultures in the world, like I can't name them all, but they use weed as like a healing thing because it comes from the ground. You know, weed you can't really like manipulate as much as like alcohol. Like alcohol, they put a bunch of bullshit in it, but like weed is like is from the earth. It grows from the earth, so a lot of people use it for that for that. For health reasons like cancers, like diseases, like all kinds of stuff. Like at that point, like it's not really my thing to say. I'm talking recreational. So like we talk about that. People use it to relax their bodies. Like if they're sore, you know, they smoke. Like I remember there's one time where I did work out super fucking high. That shit was funny, bro, cause like motherfucker was cheesing, bro. Like I'd have like this dead eye, you know, I'll be cheesing, fucking doing some rows at my house, like, and it felt weird cause like I was fucking like, I was like zooted, bro, but like it felt so good, like. Anyway, so people use it to relax. Like you got indicas, which is like in the couch, like where I'm at, you know what I'm saying? Like I'll be passing out. You know, indicas like they relax your body, and then sativas like, you know, they're like either like relax your mind or get you pretty active or like just make you just explode with thoughts, bro. And like that was my pick, sativas. I always fuck with sativas. I never did indicas or nothing. Like I did like a couple times, but I didn't like how it felt. I didn't like fucking sleep, like falling down and like just sleeping, bro. Like sativas, I like to like think about like 30 different things at once and then like fucking carry on conversation, like some weirdo shit, like fucking universe will be in my brain, like it never just stopped working. So like that was me. Sativas, like music sounded fucking amazing, like everything, food tasted so good, like we'll get into that, but me, it was sativas. So behaviors on weed, like my own experience with weed, like the first time I tried it, it was in college and I got off of work and I was just curious. Like somebody gave me like a bowl and I didn't know how to fucking do that, bro. Like I burned my finger and everything. Like I was like, fuck, you know, burned my lip and like I took a big hit, but like it didn't do nothing to me. Like I didn't take it right. So the first time I smoked weed, I didn't feel it. But like I felt so guilty after that, bro, because like of the way like my parents taught me and like culture in Mexico, and like I was just so guilty, bro, because I was like, man, like, what the fuck did I come to? Like, I told myself I would never smoke weed. Like, why the fuck did you do it? Like, it didn't even get me high, but I was just, like, super fucking sad about it. Like, people around me were like, why you upset? I'm like, bro, because, like, I told myself as a little kid, like, I would never do it. And, like, I was just thinking about little old me, like, so mad at myself. And, like, I was just so down in the dumps about it, bro. Like, after that, I didn't mess with weed for, like, 3 years, bro. Like, I was, like, 18 at the time, and, like, I didn't start smoking like fucking crazy until I was like 21. So, you know, my own experience with that, like I never did that. Like other people's experiences, like they you know, they would do it. Like I knew people who would smoke every day and every morning, every night, like wake and bake, like fighting demons and shit, like trying to distract themselves from the world. And like they would do it like it was a cup of coffee, bro. I don't even drink coffee. I don't even take pre-workout. Like, I don't do none of that. Like I just wake up, like I just drink water. But like they would use it to like relax them or wake up or like get the stress off the mind. And I knew it was a problem with people to use it to study in college. Like they couldn't study without weed, bro. And like that's a fucking problem. Like I don't care what anybody says, it's a fucking problem, bro. So you know, that's what I knew. Like people used it, they abused it in college. They abused it just like alcohol. But like the people who like abused weed were like more frowned upon. That's what I knew. Like people were frowned upon you for like being a weed smoker. And I was like, what the fuck? Like that's why I didn't do that. But I was like, oh, but don't frown upon your homie that just got in a fight, broke a bottle over somebody's head, you know, drove drunk and hit a fucking pole. Like, but you gonna hit him up to drink again. But you smoke weed, bro. You're like some fucking like weirdo. Like, I don't get it. That was what it was. Like, I don't care no more. But like at the time, I was like, man, fuck y'all. But you know how it made me feel emotionally? Like when I started smoking weed a lot more when I was 21 because I didn't want to drink anymore. So I just started using weed. Like, what kind of fucking rhetoric, like, what kind of thought process is that, bro? Like, you don't want to stop, you want to stop drinking, so you're going to use the other thing that's, like, going to damage you in another way, like, weed. Like, so, you know, how it made me feel, though, emotionally, like, when I started smoking weed, I felt like I was happier. Like, my mind would elevate, like, I'd be, like, funnier, you know? Like, I feel, like, really good, and, like, my body would, like, just be, like, kind of floating, and, like, my mind would be just stimulated and, like, just chilled, and, like, you know, I talk so much. And music, bro, music sounded so good, bro. Like, I remember one time I was listening to fucking Spotify and I was just bobbing my head and shit because, like, I was listening to something. I don't know what the fuck it was, bro. Dude, it was, like, lit. And then I look at my phone and it's fucking Travis Scott. And I was like, I don't even like Travis Scott, bro. Like, what the fuck? Like, this man makes good music. I don't listen to Travis Scott. I don't really like him. Like, I don't like his music. But, like, when I was high, that's some shit would happen. I just discover music, bro. Like I go for hours. Like I watch music videos. Like I'd be lazy as fuck just watching music videos, and like I'd be like rapping to this shit. But like I was in an elevated mood. Like emotionally, I was in an elevated mood. Like I was funnier. Like I'd make hella jokes. Like I find everything funny, bro. Like I was just like fucking a good time to be around high, bro. Like I was a great time to be around high. So like that's why I did it, bro. Like cause like it made me, you know, feel better. But physically, like, you know, numb. I'd be numb. Like, you know, like my brain would just be like kind of. I feel kind of stupid. Like I feel kind of dumb. Like, you know, like I felt dumb and goofy. Like it was cool. Like it was a cool feeling. You know, like it never made me like. The reason why I kind of started smoking more weed because I never get hungover and like I would never feel like shit. Like I never want to throw up when I was high. Like, you know, I'd be listening to my music. I'd be talking to some people. I'd be at parties and I'd just hear the music. And I'd just be like in my zone, just like chilling, bro, like a fucking tree. Just motherfuckers around me just walking around, offering me beer and shit. And I wouldn't even pay attention. Or sometimes when somebody would talk to me, bro, like I would be like not even paying attention to them because like I'm thinking about 30 different fucking things in my brain or like listening to music in the background. Like, huh? What'd you say? Huh? Like that was with me. Mentally, like I was great. Like I felt good. Like I got to escape from reality. Like if I had a tough week, like I smoked, bro. You know, I'd use like joints, like actual weed, like where I was smoking, like you know, rolled up and shit, like in blunts and like, you know, joints and like bowls. I would do that with people. Like I would pass around shit with people. But if I didn't want to smoke with people, if I was by myself, it'd be edibles and like a wax pen eventually later, right? So like I would do that. Like I wouldn't be like giving gummies out to like parties. Like I would time it to like when I would go and like, or I time it when I get off of work on Thursdays and like, you know, get fucking like zooted by myself. Just either play like video games. Like playing video games high was fucking funny, bro. Cause like I remember, bro, I was playing Warzone and that was like time when like COVID was, and like I was like so high, bro, that I was playing and I was like on the opposite side of the map as my other 3 homies, bro. Like I was just doing my own shit. Like I was just exploring, bro. I was having fun with it. But we talk about like I was like fucking laughing at everything. Like I couldn't pay attention to nobody. Like I was just chilling, bro. Like I was in my own little world. Listening to music was great. Eating habits though. Eating habits was terrible because like I had DoorDash like McDonald's like 2 in the morning, bro. Like fucking my thing when I was high, bro. And this shit was funny back then, right? This shit was funny back then. But now I'm more conscious. Like I know what the fuck, how destructive this shit was. But like I would work out, you know, 6 times a week. You know, I'd work out, I wouldn't sleep fucking well, you know, because I would fucking mental health was shit. But I'd work out, I'd get it. You know, I hit PRs with like weight. Like I'd fucking be getting it. People like knew like, damn, you're getting big. But like I was also getting fat as fuck. So like my thing when I was fucking zooted, I would go get like cheesy bread, pizza, wings, like sodas, like cookies, like junk food, bro. Junk food, like it'd be excessive. Like I'd eat like crap, bro. I wouldn't do cardio, and at some point this thing was getting bad. Like I'd get high once a week, you know. It started out as like 5 milligrams. Then it became 10 milligrams once a week. Then it became 15, 20, 30, 40. Then it'd be twice a week. Thursday, Friday, get high. Thursday, I would always like chill at home. And then I'd either like get like Wing Shack, like DoorDash, like I'd DoorDash like McDonald's, like stuff I would never touch to this day. Like, dude, I'm totally different now, bro. Like I'm so conscious of this shit. But like back then I was immersed in pleasure and that was the thing. Like weed made me chase pleasure. Like I'd go home, you know, I'd get high, I'd play video games, like no drive. And then I'd go party like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like no life, bro. And then when I'd be out and I'd be a weed smoker now, like I don't drink as much anymore. So people like, oh, he's a pothead, like, and some people would judge, bro. Like people would judge, like I don't know why I was hanging out with these people. Like it was demons that I was fighting, bro. Like I was still depressed, like mental health was shit, bro. Like I was using weed to cope too, you know. Like I was starting to abuse like weed. It used to be like a little relaxer, but now it's like I gotta escape like reality. Like my mental health sucks. So like when I would like get high, before I get high, because this is what weed does. Like weed elevates the mood that you're in. So like some people would get paranoid. I wouldn't. Like I was never that paranoid person when I was high. It only happened once. Actually, let's go back. So there was this one time where one of my cousins came from California. We got high as fuck at this house party, and I was like zooted, bro. Like I think that shit was laced because like I was in a living room in a party, and like there was like it was like 3 a.m, and like some gangsters started coming in, bro, and like they started blocking the doors like at the house. I was like, they're gonna fucking rob us. Like they started taking shit from the showers, like this house, and like they started to try to steal shit, and like I got paranoid, bro. Like my mood was just elevated, and I was like, you gotta get the fuck out of here. Like I might have to fight people, like shit that I was like drunk, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how I felt, and like it would elevate my mood, and like it just killed my mood, bro. But anyway, going back to the eating habits, like it was bad. Like it would become like edibles, then it became joints. I'd get joints, and then it became 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them just to get high. So the dopamine response was starting to be way too high, and then eventually started to go too low. So the dependency was super high just to get to the same level. So reason why I don't smoke weed anymore, because I fucked my brain up, bro. Like my receptors and dopamine receptors were super excited. Like I immersed pleasure. Like I was a weed smoker who would play video games, eat like shit, complain, work out to try to mask like any fucking insecurities. But I was still depressed as fuck, work out, but my body was getting worse. I couldn't breathe no more because like my freaking cardio, I never did cardio. I would never chase the grind like me. Like now, bro, like motherfucker don't smoke weed. He sleeps on it, sleeps on time. He don't even go to club. He don't go out. He don't talk to people who do that stuff all the time. Like I don't fuck with that. So like I couldn't breathe as well. Like, you know, it was starting to, like, my chest would kind of like hurt, bro. And like I was like, damn, I'm gonna die, but who cares? Like I'm not gonna die, but I was like, I'm in terrible shape, bro, but who cares? You know, I'm too immersed in pleasure. Like I want to still get high and like shit like this and that. And like I would just eat anything, and like it just became like I had to get a wax pen, bro, and I had to get so much like oil, and like I would smoke the fuck out of it, bro. Like every freaking hit you would see me, like I would be zooted in public, like to the point where I'm almost passing out. Like that's what I had an ideal like day, weekend. Like so it became Thursday through like Sunday where I'd get high and I'd be outside and like would be fucking smoking. And like there's one time where I ordered like 2 pizzas, ate the whole 2 pizzas, and then I ate like cheesy bread, like, and got like a whole fucking 2-liter Dr. Pepper and basically drank that shit. And like people thought that was funny, and like, but I'm around the wrong people. Like that's enabling behavior, and I didn't know that until like later, where I was just going out, and it's the same time where I tried to stop drinking, and it was like all this shit was coming at me once, and you know I started to do too much, and I would have epiphanies, multiple epiphanies. Stoic philosopher Epictetus says we don't have one epiphany that changes our life. We have multiple. So I was ignoring these multiple epiphanies, and now what I know now is that you gotta trust your gut. So my gut was like, dude, go sober. Like stop being around these people. Like you're not happy. Like do something about it. You need to find something that will help you get over it. Like you need to, you know, people talk about reading all the time. People talk about meditating all the time. Like I would never do it though. I'd be like, I'm down to meditate. Like I never did it. So it was time, bro, but it took me a while. So when I started trying to be sober, it was the same thing as the Kendrick Lamar thing, like what I talked about in my alcohol video. I was listening to Swimming Pools, and I was drunk and high. No, I was actually high, and like I was like feeling it, and he said like, if your excuses you're like me, trying to find like something at the bottom of a bottle and the greenest endo leaf. Like you're trying to find yourself at the bottom of this bottle and the greenest endo leaf. Like the fucking, you're trying to find yourself in the weed. Like you won't find yourself in the weed. Like as you know, like you can't find happiness out of anything but yourself. So I was trying to do alcohol, I was trying to do weed to try to find myself. I was traveling a lot. I was hanging around people who thought like would supply me, you know, I was chasing pleasure, and like they never fulfilled it. Like that's the devil's work. Like I believe in God, and God had helped me overcome these things, and like I'm able to teach you guys again. Like I'm able to teach you guys my experiences. That's why I talk about them. You know, that's why it's important for me to talk about the weed story. But like it's a portal to like bad things. Like so I was opening the door to all these demons, and like it could be a gateway drug for me. Like I was at the same parties where people were snorting cocaine and like doing all kinds of bad shit. Like so I went to like a freaking like show that I paid $50 for, and I was pissed off because it sucked. But like people were on LSD and like all these crazy shits, and they would make excuses for this to be like, oh, it's not a bad thing. Like you can't enjoy the music without being high. And I got fucking zooted that night, and it wore off like within like an hour or two because it was so hot in there. I was sweating, and I had this thing was like, bro, fuck this shit. I'm in Denver. I'm hungry. I go to a freaking 7-Eleven, eat a fucking pizza. Like, is this what my life has come to, bro? Like me eating like shit, compromising my health, compromising my mental health, thinking that I have it made, but I don't. Like, it shit came all crumbling down to me, bro. So like, that all came together, and then the "What You Ain't Gotta Lie" song, like, I don't remember the timeline of these events, like, "You Ain't Gotta Lie," because "You Ain't Gotta Lie," like, the Kendrick song "Swimming Pools" came on a week before the "You Ain't Gotta Lie" song, and I think that before that day of the "You Ain't Gotta Lie," where I heard it, it was like, "You ain't gotta lie to kick it." Like, I was lying to kick it. I was lying to myself. Like, I was trying to be happy, people perceive me as happy, but I never was. Like, and even if the people who noticed, like, I wasn't real, like, I fucking felt so insecure to be around them, because like, I wasn't real. Like, I was not being my own personal self, and I didn't know who I was. And like, we made that a problem. I didn't know who the fuck I was, bro. Like, you know, at the same time, like I said in other videos, like, I had the choice to walk away. I had the choice to say no to weed, but like, I was too immersed in pleasure that I thought I could not be my own person. I could control my life. That's why I use weed so much. And like, I could tell you from like times where I use weed so much, bro, like, I'd wake up the next morning and talk about no hangover. Like, I'd wake up the next morning fucking stupid, like, clouded, like, to the point where like, even in daily tasks, I couldn't focus, bro, because my memory loss was terrible. Like, I could not function, bro. And like, I knew that was a problem, but I still ignored it. Like, how does this serve you to not be present? Like, how does it serve you to just forget what people are talking about? For you to just ignore your habits, your good habits, your sleeping, your eating, your exercise? Those 3 things will improve your life, bro. You don't need anything else. And too much social media use, all that shit was just a recipe for disaster. Like, how the fuck was I not awake at this point? Like, so like, I'm telling you this because like, it's true. Like, I needed something to have fun. I needed to be high to listen to music. I needed to do all this shit. Why the fuck did I need to do it? Because I had a void to fill. I didn't have it. I didn't know what reading, meditating, journaling, you know, like taking walks, like all this shit. I didn't know what this was. Like, I didn't know what cardio was. I didn't push myself. I was just so comfortable, bro. So people have these opinions about weed. I think it's terrible. Like, I think weed is terrible. Like, if it's not for medical practices, don't fucking use it. Like, and now it's being more accepted, bro. But like, when you have mental health problems and you try to fix it with like weed, like, you like, now I know that like, I was self-pity mode, that I had to mask it. But like, weed is not gonna do anything good for you, bro. Like, if it's recreational, it's not gonna do any good for you. It's not gonna do any good for you, just like weed, alcohol does. Cocaine is not gonna do anything good for you. Nothing is gonna be doing good for you. You have to know how to live your own life and create things that will make you happy from within. So you sleep, you exercise, you meditate, you read and journal, and you follow your dreams, and you do things that will make you challenged, that will challenge you, but it will make you grow. And weed, all it does for you is it makes you eat like shit, get lazy, lay down. And I know people who stop using weed and they're freaking like running hella like half marathons, like they're working out every day, or like they're maintaining the body, like their freaking brain is like functioning. I can have full-on conversations with the people. Like, there's no like empty void that like I can sense in them. And like, I just have so much mental clarity, bro. Like, I just took out all the stuff that was like clogging my brain, bro. Like, I found God and everything, like, and he's helped me through it. Like, I was blinded, bro, and like, that's what we did. And you know, I tried to quit the same day I tried to quit alcohol. And what you have to find out is that if you try to quit one habit, you have to quit it at a time and replace it with something. So I quit alcohol, I started to read more. I quit weed, I started to meditate. That's what will replace it. Think about the long term. If I was losing like memory within like months, half a year of use of weed, can you imagine where I would be at when I'm like 60 years old? And trust me, the people that I've talked to, like, that are 80, 70 years old, who can still talk, can still speak, can still function, can still exercise. I have conversations with the people sometimes. They speak so clearly and so concisely. And I asked them, what is it? They're like, I don't smoke, I don't drink. Like, I gave up with that stuff when I was younger. And like, they look like they're 60 years old, like 40 years old. You know, today I met a guy who runs ultra marathons. He's 40. He looks like he's 29. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't do none of that, because that's not gonna benefit you, bro. Like, it's not gonna benefit you. Like, me going down the same path every weekend, smoking, smoking out of a pen, like higher potency weed, like oil, bro, like concentration, like how the fuck am I gonna be able to run these marathons? How am I gonna be able to, have a family where I can actually speak to them and like not, I actually speak to them and be present for them. I can't be present when I'm high. Like, we can't do that. You can't be that when you're drunk. So, what helped me with sobriety, actually, let me get back. So, November 27th, I tried to quit weed. And then December 3rd was when, like, December 2nd was when I met up with some friends. And, like, I was like, I'm trying to stop smoking. But I have this respect for this one guy. I still talk to him to this day. Like, I talk to him all the time. And he's gotten me closer to, like, God and everything. And, like, we talk. Like, we read books. Like, we create a lot of content together, and like we just look out for each other, bro. Like, we're homies. And like he offered me like a bowl to smoke, and I was like, fuck, bro, I don't want to tell this guy like I want to stop, but like, I'm gonna take it because I respect him. And after that, I didn't tell him like I was trying to stop, but after that, I felt so guilty. I was like, bro, you broke your own agreement, like you need to stop. So after that was the last time I smoked weed, bro. And what has helped me is that I switched the habits. I stopped going out. I stopped hanging around the same people who I smoke and drink with. I started to exercise a little bit more. I rested because I had an injury, actually, so I didn't work out. And it put it into perspective, like, okay, I can't work out, because I had a terrible injury. Like, I read, meditate, I got a lot of stuff, and I grew my hair out. And 2 weeks after, like, I stopped smoking, I went to LA, once upon a time LA. I was around people who smoked, but like at this point I saw people who were standing in line for 3 hours for a beer, or they're smoking while they missed 8 different acts on stage, bro. While I was there watching the stage, being present, drinking water, I was present. Like, I was able to do this. I wasn't on social media at the time. I'm still not on social media as much anymore. I use it for the business stuff, but like, I'm present. I can function. I don't have memory loss no more. My brain is not clogged anymore. It's not fogged, because weed and alcohol fogged my brain. Social media fogged my brain. It fucked it up, bro. Like, I couldn't focus. I couldn't even write like a poem or nothing. Like, I didn't believe in myself because I had too many things going on in my brain. Now I got rid of all that shit. Like, I believe in myself 100%. And like, I use this as a platform to help my people grow. Like, I'm going to speak my mind, and I'm going to do the things that are necessary for y'all to help yourselves and become better. And like, I wish the best for everybody, but like, weed and alcohol don't serve you at all. Like, if it's not medical use, like, we don't have enough research to know that. Like, you don't need it. Like, patients who have cancer and stuff, like, they most likely need it. Like, I respect it, but like, people who are functioning in a different way, like, who are healthy, who have dreams and aspirations, bro, weed is gonna kill that shit for you, like, straight up. The dopamine receptors in my brain are not fucked up no more. Like, I hardly listen to music. I hardly stay on social media. I hardly watch any YouTube. I create YouTube videos, but I don't even watch YouTube. I don't watch Netflix. I don't play video games. I don't do none of that stuff that I used to do anymore. I just write notes. I write my outlines for my videos. I write music. I write poetry, and I read books. Like, I've read 12 books already this year, and I have a whole collection of books. If I listen to music, I have a vinyl record. Because of vinyl record, I don't have to move it. I don't have to look at a screen. Like, if I have to listen to the music, I have to listen to the whole album. Like, I can't touch it. Like, I don't want to touch it. Like, I want to keep it playing in the way that it has to play. So there's not a lot of things going on in my brain. Like, think about like the people who grew up in the 1900s. Like, they wake up and read the newspaper on the toilet. Like, people nowadays, they watch on their phone, they scroll through social media for 5 minutes, and they process thousands of information that you couldn't access on a newspaper back then for the same amount of time. So everybody's dopamine receptors and the way that they think is way too overloaded for the brain. The brain is not different than any brain that it was in the 1600s. You look the same. We have different things, we advance in different things, but like, your body is still the same. Your body's meant to move, your body's meant to think, your body's meant to like do a lot of things, like, and you're also meant to chase your dreams. So when you do things that limit you and just like bring you down, and like, you get these temporary highs, these personal pleasures that last, like this instant gratification, getting high, drunk, having too much sex that you don't need, like, without a partner, like, just chasing these things that will not fill the void, like buying too much clothes, like buying designer clothes, like going after these things that don't even matter to you. Like when you get rid of this stuff, like I got rid of weed, alcohol, like I got rid of a lot of people who don't even matter to me, who don't care about me. Like I got like 3 solid friends. Like less is more. So like now I'm focused on my dreams and my goals, and like I'm giving back to y'all. I can speak clearly. You know, this is all one take, and I know what I want to say because there's not 30 different things going on in my head. Right? So we just made it worse. The same thing with alcohol and mental health, like it all ties together. So if you're trying to become better, like mental health is the #1 thing that you gotta fix. Because if you don't have mental health, you can't do nothing. Like you don't wait to go to the gym when your mental health is messed up. Like you go to the gym regardless if your mental health is bad, because over time it will get better. That's a better form of gratification. That's delayed gratification. So when it takes time to work on your body, you know, like to me, like I can run now. Like I never ran in my life. Like, you know, I never read, I never meditated. Like I'd be writing poetry, I'd be going on a stage performing poetry. Like I'd be making music every week. Like I'd be making videos, and like that doesn't happen if I don't delay gratification. So like I'm not wasting my time on getting high and like staying in the cloud, rather than right now I'm spending the same amount of time building things, building skills, and like this stuff will last me longer, and I want to give back to the world. That's why I exist. So that's why I make these videos, because it's necessary, because somebody needs to hear it. And people will disagree with it. I don't give a fuck. You can disagree with it all you want. I don't care. But I know the people who care wholeheartedly about themselves, and I do it for them. But anyway, like, so what has helped me is staying away from these situations, these environments, replacing them with better habits. And the identity change is the most important. You tell yourself you don't smoke. You don't smoke and you don't drink. Shout out to Phantom. But you don't smoke and you don't drink. You don't party. You don't do this. Because if you say, I'm trying to stop smoking, I'm trying to stop drinking, I'm trying to stop partying, like, you know that you're not going to stop because you tell yourself you're trying. Like, trying, I don't care if you say you're trying. You got to do it, right? You got to stop. So when you tell yourself, I'm not this, I'm not that, you are not. It's the same thing if to say somebody is telling you you're a failure and you actually believe it, then you start to act like a failure. If somebody calls you ugly and you actually believe it, I am ugly, then you start to feel and act like you're ugly. So you stop taking care of yourself. When you tell yourself I don't smoke, you stop doing the things that makes you want to smoke. So it's all about an identity change. Right now, I view myself as a creator, as an artist, and as an athlete, because athletes don't get high. Athletes don't smoke weed, they don't do cocaine, they don't go out and party, they don't drink. They don't do that. They stay at home, they eat well, they get their sleep, they get their rest, they meditate, they keep their mind right, and they read. Athletes do that. Athletes don't get their wax pens after each game. Athletes go and recover, they get in their ice bath. You know, they might do another workout, they stretch. That's what athletes do. So your identity has to change. How does it feel over a year? I feel great. Like, I will never smoke again. I don't need to. Like, there's no reason. Like, same thing with alcohol. Like, I left that behind, you know. There's no need to do that. There's no need to go out all the time. Like, it doesn't serve me. Less is more. Like, I got rid of all that stuff, and I have more in my life now to take control of. I don't need it. Like, I will never do it again. You know, those are things that I built. Words of encouragement. Like, you can do this. Like, you can totally do this. I believe in you 100%. If you're trying to stop smoking weed, you know, ask me questions and just know that you have to look at yourself as somebody who stops. Like, if you're on day 3, day 70, day 80, you know that you won't ever do it again because you believe in yourself 100%. You are not a weed smoker. You're not an addict. You are not somebody who seeks instant gratification. It's possible. So I wholeheartedly believe in you. But thank you as always. You know, this one is a little shorter, but I appreciate y'all for what you do, and thank you for the support, and I hope the best for you. Peace, love, light, and positivity.